All right. Welcome to this evening on whether we're in the bear market or the bull market right now. So, obviously, there's a lot of fear going on in the marketplace right now. I just want to bring to you some of my experience of watching uh, bull markets go to bear markets back in 2017. Also, seeing the same thing happen in 2021. And having lived through a couple of these already, the big question people have: are we in the bull? Are we in the bear market? So obviously, I believe we're still in the bull market. But what happens when we have drops like this, that you see certain stocks go down. I think Tesla went down recently about 15% in the last couple of days. We've got MicroStrategy that was up at about 424 or 430 earlier this week and is now down to 324. So that's almost a 25% drop. So we have big drops going on in the market and people get really concerned. And if you have not been in crypto before or highly volatile stocks, then the first thing to learn from all of this is that there is volatility. So while you're going to have certain spikes up during bull markets, you can have big drops like this. And this is not uncommon when you're in Bitcoin, when you're in stocks now like MicroStrategy, or even in a Tesla. I've held Tesla since 2016 is when I first bought Tesla. So I've seen the swings of Tesla over the years. MicroStrategy, I bought my first shares of MicroStrategy back in 2020, and I loaded in early this year. So as you start looking at what you're doing, I'm just going to give you my perspective of somebody who's done very well in Bitcoin, very well in MicroStrategy, very well in Tesla as well. And I'm also in Solana, but Solana is my fourth pick out of all of them. Not because I don't believe in the future of it. I believe in it strongly. It's just I got into Solana later than the other ones. Okay. So right now, like I'm looking at the markets now. I bought in way early on a lot of this stuff. So what happens is as the prices start rising up like they were over the past month or so, people start chasing the gains and they start just layering in out of FOMO. And it happens all the time. So whatever you're doing right now, if you believe we're in a bull market over the next 5, 6, 7 months, which I believe we are in a bull market and we're still in a bull market, then you need to make your choices intelligently. Right now, I did buy into some MicroStrategy at the end of the trading day today. I also do trade, and when I buy into stuff, I look at charts. So to me, my chart looks like it had bottomed out with MicroStrategy, or it was a good time to buy. Could fluctuate down a little bit more, who knows? But certainly being down at this level, I layered in a little bit. But 99.9% of my position of MicroStrategy, I bought much, much earlier. So as you're looking at the next 6 months, and this is not financial advice, but having lived through these experiences in 2017, when I watched Bitcoin go up and crash, in 2020, when I watched it go up and crash, in 2021, I'm used to the volatility with this stuff. Okay. And so I've gotten in to where I've made really good returns. In some cases with MicroStrategy, some of my positions are over 300% because I got in early. My Bitcoin positions are up over 300%. Just from what I bought last year. And then I bought Bitcoin back in 2018. I bought my first Bitcoin. So you really got to look as you're moving forward into this. If I were buying now, which again, the majority of my positions I bought earlier, but if I were buying now, I would look at, do I believe in the asset over a 4-year period? And if you don't believe in the asset over a 4-year period and you're just trying to get in, you can't stomach the ups and downs, then it's probably not the right fit to be layering into something right now like a Bitcoin or MicroStrategy if you're not looking at it a longer time horizon. And sure, you could be looking at it over the next 5 to 6 months of the bull run, because I still believe we're in a bull run for sure. But you're going to hit some, we're going to hit some volatility when we get to the end of the bull run. Now, there is speculation that because governments are potentially layering in, and we know there's governments that have bought Bitcoin already. We know that large corporations keep adding it to their balance sheet, and they're replicating the MicroStrategy playbook. So we're seeing this as well. So we know that larger institutions, BlackRock keeps buying, And we also know that when we hit the dip and we're at 97K with Bitcoin today, larger institutions are buying. BlackRock's buying. I bet you Saylor is going to buy this weekend if he hasn't bought already. So I think we're going to get another announcement on Monday from Michael Saylor that MicroStrategy bought more Bitcoin. And even in a video I was watching with Michael Saylor the other day, Michael Saylor was talking about the fact that they are their plan to purchase $42 billion additional of Bitcoin over the next 3 years. They've accelerated this plan. So when they announced it in October, they've accelerated this plan. And so he does something what's called at the market, where he issues shares in the market. And anytime he issues shares in the market, he takes that money and he buys more Bitcoin. So he issues more stock. We buy the stock. He takes the money. He buys more Bitcoin. So from what I'm watching with Saylor and from his interviews last night as it relates to MicroStrategy, it appears that when he buys more Bitcoin on the balance sheet, the stock kind of stays in the range that it's in right now, because they're issuing more stock to buy more Bitcoin. So what I think he's doing, based on what he said, is they're going to do the at the market strategy where he issues more stock. Their plan is to get 21 billion of Bitcoin, doing it that way, issuing stock. And as soon as he empties that out, he's going to go to his convertible debt strategy. And I think he's going to push the gas on that. So we have not seen the end of MicroStrategy buying. I personally believe that MicroStrategy next year in 2025 will hit $1,000. That's my call on it. And I'm holding on to MicroStrategy. I haven't sold any of it. I haven't sold my Bitcoin positions. So I'm not selling into the FOMO. And I think when Powell came on the other day, he said two things, right, that struck me. And I was watching the feeds and I was watching how people were responding when Powell was announcing the interest rate cuts. First of all, 95% of the time when an interest rate cut is announced, the stock market goes up. So 95% of the time when an interest rate cut is announced, like it was announced by Powell yesterday, the market goes up. This was the 5% where the market went down. And it went down based on two things that I've heard many people talk about, which is, one, we're not going to have as many rate cuts next year. So he kind of put that in and seeded that into people's minds for next year. I don't know. I don't like the move. I think it was a way to kind of tank what's happening with the upcoming administration. I personally don't like what he did. I also don't like how he answered the question when he got asked about Bitcoin in the U.S., putting Bitcoin as a treasury reserve asset. I don't like his response with it. I think the way he answered it was not good PR. And I think it created a lot of FOMO in the marketplace. And you could see it in feeds where, if you're watching the feeds, people were like, sell, 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 sell. And you just can't buy into that FOMO. So I'm on this, this call with you right now, or this video call with you right now, doing this podcast for the sake of like putting some certainty back into what's happening. And there's a lot of FOMO of like, this is happening and that's happening and Powell did this. Yes, these things happen, but we're no stranger to this in a bull market. Okay. In bull markets, prices go up and they go down, and there's somebody that I like a lot. I'm going to quote him on this because it's Invest Answers, James from Invest Answers. And he talked recently today on this. And he said that during bull runs, the crypto market often experiences rapid price increases fueled by investor enthusiasm, speculation, and sometimes FOMO. When corrections occur in this environment, they can be swift and severe because they often involve a rapid shift in market sentiment, right? So August 2015 to December 2017, there were no drawdowns reaching 50%. The largest correction was 40% retracement in a short period. So we have seen massive retracements in a short period of time back in 2015 to 2017, when we had the bull market in 2017. We've seen retracements that were 40%. With Bitcoin, this was a much smaller retracement. So if you're new to the game and you haven't sat through this before, this is the volatility. And so we enjoy it when it's going up, and nobody likes it when it's going down. I don't care how seasoned you are in this. Nobody likes to watch themselves losing a large sum of money. Nobody. But if you're not selling and you have a good strategy going into the next 5 or 6 months, then great. I believe we're going to the moon with the bull market. Buying from institutions has never been stronger. More and more companies are adding Bitcoin to their balance sheet. I believe when Trump comes in, we are going to see a Bitcoin treasury reserve for the United States. I believe they are going to do it based on what we're hearing in the first 100 days. I believe they have to do it within the first 100 days. Otherwise, it's going to fizzle out. And I think if he doesn't do something, he's going to become very unpopular with the Bitcoin community and people who are in crypto, which is a large percentage of the US and a large percentage of the population now. So all indicators are looking good. We had a couple days, whatever, right? Okay. So things that I do, I'm in MicroStrategy. I told you I share my picks. I'm in Bitcoin. I'm in Tesla. Those are the three that I bet on the most. And again, I first bought into Tesla early in 2000. I think it was 2016. I bought into Tesla. I first bought into Bitcoin in 2018. And I first bought into MicroStrategy in 2020. All right. My largest acquisition of MicroStrategy has been early this year in 2024. All right. And if you look at the data here, another shout out to Invest Answers on this. Tesla was at $200 on October 11th this year. Okay. Now, if you look at the charts on Tesla, where we're at after hours on Tesla. Tesla's sitting at 428. So if you look at it's now, December 19th. On October 11th, Tesla was at 200. It's now at 428. So gives you a little perspective. MicroStrategy in early September was 100. Right now, if I look at the dial on MicroStrategy, it's trading at 3. Let's look at the after hours chart. MicroStrategy is trading at 326. All right. So if you're in early and you're seeing it drop, whatever, we know it's going back up. At least I know it's going back up. All right. So that just gives you perspective on where we've been in the markets. Bitcoin in August 5th, 2024 was at 49,000. Again, this is a shout out to James at Invest Answers for giving this data. Now it's at 97,500. All right. So, you're looking at over the course of months, fortunes have been made. And if you've been in it for a while, I'm sure you're holding strong through this. And listen, I'm just sharing my point of view of nobody likes to see it go down. All right. But I'm not selling and I'm holding and I'm very, very bullish, extremely bullish on MicroStrategy. And, I was talking to a friend of mine today, a new acquaintance who's doing some development for me and coding for my other business. And he was really, really distraught at what he was seeing. He was like, I don't know. Maybe we're at the end of the bull run. I'm like, dude, we're not at the end of the bull run. We're just not. Okay. We got new management coming in the US. I mean, come on. We got new management coming in January 2019, January 19th or whenever the inauguration day is. We got new management, right? How exciting is that? All right. So when Trump comes in, things are going to get better. All right. And we got old management retiring. Thank God. Right. So all the indicators for 2025 look good. There may be some rebalancing and stuff with stocks and things at the end of this year and rebalance of portfolios. So, MicroStrategy, money's flowing in to MicroStrategy from the QQQ on December 23rd, which is exciting. So that's Monday. So who knows? Will we see some uptick in MicroStrategy? We'll see. I do think Saylor is going to buy again on Sunday. I can't imagine he's not buying this dip. Probably another $2 billion. So indicators look really good. And hold. That's what I would say. Not financial advice, but depending on where you are and when you got in, you got to think about what's right for your future in doing this. But I know the next 6 months are going to be super, super exciting. I've been through this many times before. And so I'm used to the ups and I'm used to the downs. And that's why we actually invest in Bitcoin, because we like the volatility. That's why I'm invested in MicroStrategy. And it's my largest position because I like the volatility, because I like the upside potential. The S&P 500 has done 30% this year. If you look at the returns that I just shared with you on the assets over the last couple months of Tesla, MicroStrategy, and Bitcoin, they're all doubles over the last several months, right? So, and some of them are more. So your options are sit in the S&P, which notoriously does, 14%. This is a good year for it. And the money debasement in the US is about 14% per year. So if you're in the S&P long term and you're making 14% a year and the money debasement right now is 14%, then you're making nothing. I mean, that's really what's happening in the marketplace. So where are you going to put your money? Where are you going to invest? That's the question. I know where my eggs are. I know where my bets are. My bets are, I put my money in my businesses. I put my money in Bitcoin. I put my money in Tesla. I put my money in MicroStrategy. I also buy a little bit on leverage, and I definitely don't recommend that for people who don't know what they're doing with it. I buy in MSTU. So when MicroStrategy bottomed out, I think it bottomed out a little bit today. So when it bottomed out, I bought a 2X on MicroStrategy called MSTU. But again, my largest position on those 2Xers, I bought when they were 3 times cheaper than they are right now. Okay. Just because we had such a correction, I bought a little bit in today to buy the bottom. But I bought into them when they were 3X, 300% less in terms of being cheaper is when I bought into the 2X leverage products. So you got to, pay attention to what's going in the market. And you got to just weather these things that are going on right now. So the cool things that I like about MicroStrategy, for those of you who are kind of new to the game on this, I have people ask me every day, what is MicroStrategy doing? I'm just going to go over the plan. At the beginning of the year, my MicroStrategy position was about 20%, and my Bitcoin position was 80%. Early in the year, I swapped my Tesla for MicroStrategy. That paid off for me big time. And then I took some profits and I rolled back into Tesla a couple months ago, and I got the uptick on that and did amazing with it. So now, early in the year, my position was MicroStrategy 20% because the gains were so much, and my Bitcoin position was much higher than. My MicroStrategy position is about 60%. My Bitcoin position is about 35% of the game. My Tesla position is about 5 or 6% of the game right now. So that's where I'm at. So what am I most bullish on? MicroStrategy. Why am I most bullish on it? Because of Saylor's strategy. Why am I most bullish on MicroStrategy? Because he says he's never going to sell his Bitcoin, and I believe him. And why am I even more bullish is because they do have a plan to buy $42 billion in Bitcoin, which is the plan they announced early in October. And that was their 3-year plan. And they've already acquired, I think, close to 14 billion of that plan. So in 2 months, with the $42 billion plan, they've acquired 14 billion of it already. I think they're probably by mid next year or Q2 going to hit all 42 billion, or at least they'll be at half of it. And so I'm bullish for MicroStrategy going up. I'm going to be holding on to it. And I'm excited to see what highs it hits. Right now it is trading at about a 2X. So for every dollar, on average, when I look at my Bitcoin position, for every dollar Bitcoin has gone up, MicroStrategy over that term has gone up about $2. So I've done better in my MicroStrategy position. I'm not saying that's what's happening right now, because you're seeing Bitcoin and MicroStrategy all over the place. All right. So I'm excited about that. I love what he's doing. They got added to the QQQ. If you don't know what the QQQ is, it mirrors the top 100 companies. So companies like Apple are on the list. So it's an index fund that mirrors that. And so money will be flowing into MicroStrategy as of Monday, the 23rd. So we'll see if that affects the stock price and it goes up. Other than that, hold strong is what I would say. Right now, if I was in a position and I was looking to buy and I was not in my positions already, I did buy some today. You got to decide what's right for you. And I think we have a rocket ride coming ahead of us over the next 6 months. I don't think you can look at crypto and make decisions over week and 2-week periods. I also don't think you can look and make decisions over 2-month periods. I think you have to have a long-term horizon for crypto over 4 years, particularly Bitcoin. And I think you have to get educated and knowledgeable on what it is first, so that you can feel confident in investing in it. I do think that, based on the amount of money that's flown into the ETFs over the last 11 months, particularly from Blackrock, has dusted the gold ETFs over the last 20 years. So the amount of inflows has crushed the amount of inflows we've had into the gold ETFs. So you can see that over the number of months that money's been flowing into these ETFs, it's unbelievable the amount of inflow. So the demand is super, super high for Bitcoin, and the future is super, super bright. And with more and more corporations adopting Bitcoin reserve strategies, or putting them on their balance sheet, I should say, and more governments looking at Bitcoin reserve strategies, the future looks bright. So hope this serves you. If you have any questions, leave them down below. I'm super excited about it. I'm very, very passionate about Bitcoin. I'm very, very passionate about MicroStrategy. And I love Tesla. I love Elon. I think he's just phenomenal. And I can't imagine that the stock's not going to boom into the future, particularly with, what's going on with his affiliations with Trump. And I think there's going to be even better things to come with Tesla. And obviously their technology is phenomenal. Okay. All right. We'll see you guys on the other side. Hope you're doing well, and have a great, great night, and see you in the future. Okay.